Your wallet has been listening the whole time. It remembered the first time you hesitated while paying for what you needed. It remembered the breath you held, the silent apology you whispered to your reflection. It remembered the guilt you inherited, the fear you didn't name, the way your fingers trembled when you reached into it as if it might judge you. Your wallet is not just leather or fabric. It is not just compartments and zippers. It is a spiritual archive, a sacred record keeper of every unspoken prayer and every panicked calculation. It is the altar you never knew you were kneeling at. You have spoken into it even when you were silent. You have declared your beliefs through sighs, shrugs, swipes, and surrender. Every time you said, "I don't know how I'll make it through this month." It wrote that belief down. Every time you said, "Money always disappears." It listened. Every time you told someone, "I'm just trying to survive." Your wallet became a container of survival energy. But you are no longer surviving. You are remembering. You are awakening. And this moment, is the sanctification of what you once feared. Your wallet is not the enemy. It is not empty because you are unworthy. It is not resisting you. It is simply echoing the vibration you unknowingly fed it for years. But today, that frequency changes. Today, we anoint what was once abandoned. Today, your wallet becomes a covenant. Not with the world. Not with the banks. Not with your past. But with divine law. You were never meant to flinch when handing over $1. You were never meant to apologize to a price tag. You were never meant to carry shame in your purse like a permanent receipt. You were meant to govern. You were meant to decree. You were meant to bless. There is power in where you place your word. And now, you place it here, inside the folds of the object you once treated as ordinary. Say this aloud, even if your voice is shaking. Every time I touch money, it remembers my voice, and now I speak only increase. Whisper it. Breathe it. Let it move through your body like sacred ink rewriting your subconscious. Because your wallet is not a container of cash, it is a container of command. Let every zipper pull be a drumbeat of abundance. Let every card swipe be a declaration of flow. Let every moment your hand touches that sacred space be a remembering. You are not begging money to love you. You are commanding it to remember who you are. Heaven already decided. Supply is not random. Provision is not a prize. Money is not a favor handed down from external approval. It is your spoken reflection. What you declare, you authorize. What you bless, you multiply. What you honor, you magnetize. You are not waiting for money to show up. Money is waiting for you to speak as if it already has. You can no longer afford to speak as the woman who lacks. You can no longer afford to reach into your wallet as the girl who was once told she asks for too much. That version of you. The one who whispered thank you with panic. The one who stopped herself from buying what she loved. The one who counted pennies while the world counted her out. She no longer leads. You lead now. The one who knows her word is law. The one who touches her wallet and speaks to it like a temple. The one who doesn't need permission to prosper. Touch your wallet now, even if it's empty. Especially if it's empty. Because emptiness is not absence. It is space. And space is sacred. Say this. Divine substance, you are welcome here. Multiply under grace and in perfect ways. You are not pretending. You are not performing. You are reprogramming. Every time you speak in truth, your cells record it. Your nervous system softens. Your wallet listens. What if the problem was never the number in your account, but the sentence in your mouth? What if money was not your problem, but your unspoken fear of being seen having more? What if your wallet has been a spiritual mirror, reflecting only what you've dared to declare? Then declare it now. I no longer fear being provided for. I no longer carry the trauma of lack. I bless what I hold, and what I hold blesses me. Do you feel that in your chest? That ache? That opening? That soft exhale you didn't know you were holding? That's your body remembering truth. That's your soul saying finally. This is not about money. This is about identity. This is about you realizing that you are not the woman who barely makes it. You are the woman who commands overflow with a whisper. And if this truth is rising inside you, if something sacred is stirring, If tears are making room for more, then speak your declaration into the field right now. If you feel the sacred weight of this truth, type "My wallet is my altar" below. Let your comment become your contract. Let your sentence become your shift. Because what you write in public, you seal in private. You are not here to survive another month. You are here to govern the frequency of wealth like a woman who knows she was never forgotten. This is how money learns to stay. This is how fear stops dictating your transactions. This is how your wallet becomes a symbol of sacred partnership. You bless it, and it returns with more. You speak to it, and it listens. You hold it, and it holds your new vibration. Touch it again, and this time say, "I am no longer afraid to be full. I am no longer afraid to receive. I am no longer afraid to rise." Say it until your hand stops shaking. Say it until the old version of you dissolves in your own sound. Because lack is a lie. Because abundance is remembrance. Because God heard you the first time, and now you must hear yourself. No more echoing overdraft emails in your nervous system. No more rehearsing scarcity in your breath. No more spiritual silence around financial truth. This is your permission to speak the language of supply again. This is your invitation to look at your wallet with reverence. This is your command to the universe. That from this day forward, you are not just touching money. You are touching destiny. Let the silence be broken. Let the old pattern burn. Let the empty space become sacred womb again. And speak, not because you need money to change, but because you have. You are not waiting on increase. Increase has been waiting on your word. And now, you have spoken. And so it is. Ask ChatGPT. You were not born speaking lack. You were not born whispering fear into your finances. Or flinching when it was time to receive. Or choking on the word more as if it were too holy for your mouth. No. You were taught it. Passed hand to hand, womb to womb, through generations who didn't know that money listens. You inherited silence like scripture. You repeated fear like prayer. You worshipped sacrifice as if it were the price of love. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking for what was already yours. The world told you that wanting was dangerous. That hunger was shameful. That wealth was reserved for someone else, someone louder, someone more deserving, someone other. And so you became fluent in the language of not enough. You said "I'm fine." When your soul was starving, you said "I'll make do." While your spirit screamed for overflow, you said "It's okay, I'll figure it out." As your nervous system shook under the weight of pretending. But beloved, pretending is not prosperity. And suffering is not sacred. And silence is not submission, it is self-erasure. You were not put on this earth to survive on crumbs. When heaven already decided you are the banquet. Lack is not your language anymore. It never was. You just got so used to hearing it. You started calling it your native tongue. But today, we remember the truth. We return to the holy dialect of divine supply. You are not fluent in fear. You are not designed for struggle. You are not built for barely. You were created for beauty. For bounty. For breath that does not collapse under cost. You are the I am decree wrapped in skin. You are the evidence that God still multiplies. You are the voice that wealth remembers. So say this softly, and let it echo through your body. I am no longer fluent in lack, I speak only the language of divine supply. Breathe. Let it sink. This is not a phrase. This is not motivation. This is a sentence that rewrites the frequency of your cells. Because every time you say "I can't afford it," your body believes you. Every time you joke "I'm broke again," your subconscious accepts it as law. But you are not a court of struggle. You are not the witness to generational debt. You are not the defendant of scarcity. You are the governor of your vibration. You speak, and law moves. You declare, and energy shapes. You bless, and supply answers. Say this again. I speak only the language of divine supply. Let your mouth become holy. Let your words become instructions to the universe. What if your bank account has only been responding to your tone? What if your supply has been orbiting, waiting for you to stop agreeing with less? What if heaven was never the one withholding, but your own vocabulary of struggle was? You don't have to beg the universe anymore. You don't have to hint. You don't have to apologize for what you need. You get to speak in overflow. You get to say, my needs are met before I name them. My desires are evidence of what's already prepared. My supply is not delayed, it is divine and it is mine. You are not crazy for wanting more. You are not selfish for desiring beauty. You are not wrong for refusing to settle where your ancestors stayed stuck. They didn't know what you now know. They didn't have this language. But you do. You are becoming illiterate in fear. You are forgetting the words that once kept you small. You are erasing the sentences that caged your capacity. And you are speaking yourself into overflow. Let every thought that says not enough be interrupted with truth over trauma. Let every inner echo that says you always struggle be rewritten with I was never meant to. Let every reflex that panics at the bill be stilled by the voice that says, God heard me. Supply is spiritual. I am not abandoned in this. Say it again now. Say it from your belly. I am no longer fluent in lack. Say it again, slower this time, softer. I speak only the language of divine supply. Let it rewire you. Let it wash away the phrases you learned in survival. Let it cleanse the tongue that was once trained to doubt. You are not here to translate trauma. You are here to embody truth. And truth says, you are already provided for. Heaven already decided. You are remembered in every moment where you felt forgotten. So take another breath. Let your mind catch up with what your soul never forgot. And if this feels like a remembering, not a lesson, not new, but something ancient returning, then type this into the field below. Lack is no longer my first language. Let the algorithm become altar. Let the comment become your contract. Let your declaration be what breaks the spell. Because you are not asking for overflow. You are agreeing with it. You are not chasing money. You are commanding it through vibration. You are not rehearsing what if it doesn't come anymore. You are rehearsing of course it will. You are becoming the one who knows. The one who does not beg. The one who does not bargain. The one who does not blame. You are the one who blesses. Who builds with words. Who bends reality with a sentence. So speak it once more, as law. I speak only the language of divine supply. And so it is. You didn't lose it. You didn't waste it. You didn't mismanage divine wealth. Money didn't leave you. It listened to you. It listened, not with ears, but with energy. It felt the tremble in your voice. It followed the trail of your belief. It memorized your tone, not your words. You thought it disappeared. You thought it fled. But it simply obeyed the vibration you whispered in silence. Money does not abandon. It aligns. It does not punish. It responds. It does not disappear. It listens. It listens when you hold it in fear. It listens when you spend it in shame. It listens when you touch it like a stranger instead of a servant. And it moves. Not randomly. Not out of rebellion. But by the law of resonance. It reflects what you rehearse. It magnifies what you declare. It multiplies when you honor it. And it withers when you withhold your blessing. Money doesn't follow desire. It follows direction. And your vibration is always speaking. Even when your mouth stays closed. Even when you smile through tension. Even when you say it's okay but your breath says I'm afraid. Even when you pretend to trust while your nervous system scans for lack. It knows what your body believes. But today, something shifts. You are no longer apologizing to your abundance. You are no longer whispering doubt into your wallet. You are no longer asking money to show up while you vibrate like it's not welcome. You are the speaker now. You are the command now. You are the decree money was waiting for. Say it aloud, slowly, with weight in your tone. Money hears my certainty and moves accordingly. Let it vibrate through the memory of every moment you thought you messed it up. Let it rewrite the guilt. Let it wash away the timelines where you thought you were wrong for wanting more. You didn't fail. You forgot your role. You are not money's victim. You are its director. Its shepherd. Its rhythm. Its signal. You don't chase money. You call it. You anchor it. You bless it. You govern it. And money. It obeys you. Always. Because energy never argues. It only echoes. What you declare becomes direction. What you feel becomes formation. You are not speaking into emptiness. You are shaping the invisible. You are giving heaven permission to pour. Say it again, slowly. Money hears my certainty and moves accordingly. Now breathe. Let your body catch up to your voice. You've been punishing yourself for outcomes that were never failures. Only frequencies. You've been wondering why the harvest didn't come. When the seed was missing the water of your belief. But that was then. This is now. You no longer touch money in tension. You touch it in truth. You no longer speak to it as a servant of fear. You speak to it as a sovereign overflow. You are not asking anymore. You are declaring. You are inviting through vibration. You are creating through conviction. What if money has always been at the door, waiting for your tone to match your worth? What if the delay was not divine punishment, but divine protection? Until your frequency caught up with your inheritance. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being aligned. You thought the door was closed, but your words were still whispering hesitation. You thought you were behind, but spirit was waiting for your certainty. You are not too late. You are right on divine schedule. Let the old story melt now. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the shame fall like dead skin. You are not under spiritual review. You are under spiritual restoration. And restoration begins with a decree. So speak it one more time, louder if you must, softer if that feels safer. Money hears my certainty and moves accordingly. Let it land. Let it become your baseline. Let it root itself in your nervous system. Because you're not just saying words. You are reprogramming reality. You are speaking in the native tongue of creation. You are returning to the language you spoke before the world taught you lack. And if this truth is vibrating in your belly, if something old is cracking open, if your breath feels different now, write it into the field. Mark your remembrance. Seal your frequency. If you're done apologizing to money, type, I speak, and supply answers. Let your comment become covenant. Let your sentence become sanctuary. Let your voice become the key. Money has no judgment. It holds no grudge. It is waiting, not watching. It is not checking your worth. It is checking your word. And when the word is clear, the supply is instant. You are not waiting on cash flow. Cash flow is waiting on clarity. You are not broken. You were just broadcasting confusion. But now you are coherent. Now you are confident. Now you are commanding. And heaven responds to rhythm. The law responds to repetition. The universe responds to sound. You are the sound. You are the sentence. You are the speaker of your own overflow. Say it again. Money hears my certainty and moves accordingly. And so it is. You thought it was just leather. Just cloth. Just a folded space to carry what the world said was never enough. But what you called a wallet was always a womb, a portal, a temple, a blueprint of divine remembrance, not a storage space, a sacred place, where matter listens, where energy gathers, where your words become form. You've held it in your hands 1,000 times. You've opened it with trembling. You've whispered into it without sound. And it heard every tone, every sigh, every moment you believed that what it held was a reflection of what you deserved. But now, you begin to see the truth. You were never just carrying currency. You were carrying prophecy. You were carrying possibility. You were carrying proof that reality is born from voice, not from balance. Your wallet was not keeping money. It was keeping memory of what you feared, of what you hoped, of what you believed in secret. It remembered the prayers you never spoke, the agreements you never broke, the blessings you never gave. Because you didn't know how holy it all really was. You didn't know. You were cradling your next reality every time you touched it. But you know now. And now, you speak accordingly. Say this out loud. I do not store money. I carry the blueprint of abundance. Let it wash through your nervous system. Let it echo through the vaults of your subconscious. Let it rewrite the false story of I never have enough. You were never meant to survive on pieces. You were never meant to plead with numbers. You were never meant to live in calculation. You were meant to create from blessing. You were meant to give your voice to the invisible. You were meant to imprint your frequency into form. You are not a budgeter of crumbs. You are a birther of overflow. You are not storing scraps. You are shaping substance. You are not measuring what is. You are midwifing what shall be. Let that truth land in your palms. The next time you open your wallet, touch it like it's alive. Whisper into it like it listens. And it will. It already does. When you say thank you, it expands. When you say I bless this, it multiplies. When you say I always have more than I need, it rearranges matter to make it so. Because what you place inside, you feed. And what you bless, you birth. What if you never again spent money, but sent money, with intention? What if every dollar became a decree? What if every receipt became a record of spiritual alignment? What if every empty pocket was actually a womb waiting for your certainty? You don't need more in your wallet. You need more reverence for your wallet. You need to remember what it actually is. It is not a container. It is a command. It does not hold what is missing. It holds what is forming. You don't spend from your wallet. You speak from it. So say it again. Slowly, with sacred tone. I carry the blueprint of abundance. Say it until it vibrates in the bones of your fingers. Say it until it rewrites the way you look at cash. Say it until every corner of that small sacred space feels like a sanctuary. You are the mother of your money, the midwife of your wealth, the sacred steward of what becomes form. And if your spirit whispered yes, if your belly softened when you heard this, if something ancient inside you just remembered what it forgot, type it into the space below. My wallet is a womb. Let the comment be covenant. Let your declaration become instruction. Because now you know. You are not the one who lacks. You are not the one who begs. You are not the one who waits. You are the one who plants, who prophesies, who prepares. And every time you open that wallet, you open a holy possibility. So speak well. Bless what's inside. Honor what's forming. Command what belongs to you. This is not storage. This is sacred. This is not where money hides. It's where overflow begins. Say it once more, not just from lips, but from the identity that finally remembers. I do not store money. I carry the blueprint of abundance. And so it is. That hesitation. When your hand reached for your wallet. When the number on the screen made your chest tighten. When you swiped the card and your nervous system whispered, will more come back? That wasn't your voice. That wasn't your fear. That wasn't your truth. It was inherited. It was memoized. It was passed through centuries of silence. Taught to daughters who watched their mothers. Apologize for asking. Whispered through family kitchens and religious pews. Where lack was law and wealth was warning. But that fear was never yours. You didn't create it. You carried it. You held it like a reflex. Like a muscle memory. But today, your spirit remembers how to unclench. Today, the sacred truth returns to you. You do not lose when you give. You circulate. You send. You sow. There is no loss in your release. There is only rhythm. There is only trust. There is only the invisible returning to meet you. Because it never left you. Breathe with this now. Let this next truth soften what's been tight for too long. I release inherited fear and spend from sacred trust. Say it again. And again. Until it feels like it was always your language. Because it was. You forgot for a moment. But now you remember. You were never meant to fear circulation. You were meant to move it. To bless it. To send it with certainty. Like a prayer into the river. That always returns what it carries. What if that pang of guilt you used to feel was not your fault, but someone else's memory? What if you never needed to flinch at the price tag? What if your value was never measured by how much you kept, but by how confidently you moved what was already yours? You don't shrink when you give. You shine. You don't lose when you spend. You lead. You don't betray yourself by saying yes. You bless yourself with divine flow. You have nothing to prove to money. You are not its worker. You are its origin, its vibrational source, its speaker and sender. And from this moment on, you spend only from sacred trust. You do not release in fear. You release in knowing. Knowing that what leaves in love returns in overflow. Knowing that what you bless as it goes comes back in new form, more vivid, more alive, more multiplied. Let this land now, deep in your womb, deep in your belly, deep in the unspoken language, where your supply was once silenced. You are not your grandmother's panic. You are not your father's restraint. You are not your culture's warnings. You are not your religion's guilt. You are the breaker of patterns. You are the rewriter of vibration. You are the holy remembrance of what it means to move money like it's your birthright. Because it is. And still, you ask, but how do I know it will return? And Spirit replies, because it already has. In the peace you feel right now. In the exhale you didn't expect to take. In the divine yes pulsing through your body. As you remember, you were never meant to fear circulation. You are the current. You are the command. You are the decree. Say it out loud now, with the voice of one who no longer rehearses lack. I release inherited fear and spend from sacred trust. Let the vibration rearrange your memory. Let it rewire the pattern of fear. Let it remind you that heaven already decided. You are provided for. You are supported. You are supplied. And if this feels like freedom, if something inside just let go of what never belonged to you, if your hands now feel lighter, if your chest now feels open, type this truth into your sacred space below. I no longer fear circulation. Let it be a written vow. Let it be a public unbinding. Because fear was never yours. But freedom is. Because shame was never yours. But sacred trust is. Because hesitation was never yours. But holy flow is. You are no longer surviving money. You are circulating divinity. And every dollar you move is no longer a question. It is a declaration. It is a return. It is a river. And you, beloved, are the source from which it flows. So rest. Spend. Circulate. Release. Receive. All of it. In sacred trust. Every dollar you have ever touched has remembered you. Every coin, every card swipe, every quiet bill folded into your hand. It listened. Not to your logic. Not to your panic. But to your vibration. To your breath. To the unsaid words behind your giving. Money does not multiply through mathematics. It multiplies through meaning. Through what you say when no one is watching. Through the energy you wrap around every transaction. Blessing is not superstition. It is law. It is architecture. It is the invisible frame. Around everything visible you will ever hold. You are not just spending. You are sending. You are not just budgeting. You are building. You are not just earning. You are echoing something ancient. Through every spoken word. Say this now. As your voice realigns with your wealth. I bless every dollar and command its return, multiplied. Say it again. Until it no longer feels like a wish, but a decree. Until heaven leans in closer. Because it recognizes your tone. This is how money grows. This is how money remembers you. This is how money returns. Not because you chased it, but because you called it. Every dollar you bless becomes seed. Every cent you name becomes spirit. Every note you release becomes prophesy. Bless it before it leaves. Bless it while it stays. Bless it as it returns. Money responds to the reverence. You give it in private. You don't need 10 affirmations per day. You need one sacred voice. One divine yes. One remembering that your voice is not a suggestion, it is a signature. Bless what you spend. And it will bless where it goes. Bless what you give, and it will return in new form. Bless what you hold, and it will multiply by memory. Because supply is spiritual, and multiplication is not a mystery. It is a mirror. Money reflects what you call it. Money remembers how you treat it. Money carries the vibration of your tone, your touch, your inner knowing. If you spend from fear, it leaves you with fear. If you give from guilt, it echoes guilt back. But when you speak as a vessel of divine command, money becomes holy in your hands. Say this now. I bless every dollar and command its return, multiplied. Let it move through your nervous system. Let it move through your memory. Let it rewrite the silence you inherited about money. No more silent transactions. No more fearful giving. No more casual spending. Like it doesn't matter what you say. It matters. Because you matter. And your word is a wand. God heard you. Heaven is not guessing. It is waiting for your command. It is not random. It is rhythmic. It is responsive to your decree. Your mouth opens portals. Your voice rearranges energy. Your blessing speaks in blueprints. Your words are not ideas. They are architecture. Your bank account is not separate from your soul. Your wallet is not separate from your womb. Your transactions are not separate from your truth. They are all one conversation between your divinity and the dimension of matter. Say this with sacred clarity. I bless every dollar and command its return, multiplied. And now, bless the money you already forgot about. The ones you spent last week. The ones you gave with a tinge of doubt. The ones that passed through your hands while your heart was still unsure. They are still listening. They are still echoing. They are still traceable by vibration. Bless them now. They will hear you. And they will come home. With interest. What you bless becomes a seed of spiritual remembrance. And that seed always blooms in the soil of belief. You don't have to chase return. You have to speak it. You don't have to control overflow. You have to claim it. Not from striving, but from standing. Not from trying, but from truth. You are no longer surviving financially. You are constructing spiritual wealth. You are remembering divine architecture. You are blessing with blueprint. You are multiplying by decree. Say it again, beloved. Not for repetition, but for recognition. I bless every dollar and command its return, multiplied. And if your chest just opened, if your soul just nodded, if something within you just whispered, yes, this is how I was meant to speak to money, then seal it in writing. Let your vibration leave a signature here. Type this into the sacred thread below. I bless and multiply. Let the angels read it. Let the algorithm echo it. Let the part of you that once feared money see this declaration. And remember, you were never small. You were sacred. You were never without. You were the one who spoke it into return. And now, watch what multiplies. Because you finally blessed it. Because you finally believed it. Because you finally remembered. That every dollar you touch already knows your name. Already knows where to return. Already knows how to multiply. When spoken to by truth. No more silence. No more apology. No more spiritual amnesia. From now on, you bless. You speak. You multiply. And money obeys. You were not born in lack. You were born in breath. Born in rhythm. Born in yes. Born in the holy architecture of overflow. But somewhere along the way, you signed something you never read. You agreed to something you didn't author. You nodded in silence to a lie that said, this is just how life is. This is all I'm allowed. This is how it's always been. But just because the contract was invisible, doesn't mean it was innocent. And just because it felt familiar, doesn't mean it was divine. Lack was never real. It was memoized. It was repeated like a lullaby, by mothers who had no other language to sing. It was sewn into hand-me-downs, folded into family recipes, woven into the way bills were paid in panic, or not paid at all. It wasn't yours, but it lived in you like it belonged. And still, God never authored it. Heaven never approved it. Your soul never said yes. That's why it never felt right. That's why it always stung. Even when you called it normal. That's why your spirit twitched. Every time you handed over money with fear. Every time you said, I can't afford that. But your heart whispered, I know I was made for more. Because you were. You were made for remembrance. Not restriction. You were made for divine wealth. Not inherited fear. You were made to walk in the rhythm of supply. Not the illusion of limitation. So breathe. Because this is the moment the agreement breaks. This is the holy revocation. The silent contract ends here. The lie of insufficiency is nullified in the court of heaven. Your name has been cleared. Your lineage cleansed. Say this out loud. I cancel every contract I made with lack, even unconsciously. And the universe hears you. And the gates shift. And the old rhythm breaks like glass. Beneath the weight of your spoken reality. You don't owe lack your loyalty. You don't owe fear your first fruits. You don't owe survival your obedience anymore. What you called budgeting was often just bargaining. What you called wisdom was often just inherited worry. What you called stewardship was often just fear wearing a fake halo. But now, you are fluent in discernment. You are fluent in divine truth. You are fluent in the language of enough. Because truth over trauma. Because abundance is remembrance. Because God heard you. Even when you didn't say it out loud. And God answered. Even when your prayer was a sigh. Into a pillow soaked in shame. The universe doesn't wait for you to be loud. It waits for you to be honest. And you were honest when you cried. Even if you didn't call it prayer. You were honest when you broke down at checkout. You were honest when you pretended that gift didn't matter. Because you couldn't return it in kind. But still, you were never forgotten. You were just waiting for this moment. This moment of soul clarity. This moment of energetic divorce. From every false agreement. This moment where you no longer carry the spiritual signature of lack. This is not positive thinking. This is legal dissolution. This is not wishful thinking. This is prophetic unbinding. Say this again, slowly. I cancel every contract I made with lack, even unconsciously. And as you say it, your nervous system exhales. Your subconscious rewires. Your cells remember the rhythm of more. Not striving, but receiving. Not begging, but belonging. Because supply is spiritual. Because overflow is not excess, it is alignment. And now, every time you speak money, it listens. Because you're not negotiating anymore. You're declaring. You're commanding. You're remembering. If this feels like a remembering, type this in the comments right now. I revoke lack now. Write it as a decree. Not a wish. Not a hope. Not a maybe. A decree. Because your wallet is watching. Because your bank account is listening. Because your future is folding itself around your frequency right now. You are not too late to change the agreement. You are right on divine schedule. And from this moment forward, you are no longer fluent in fear. You are no longer tethered to guilt. You are no longer enrolled in the church of scarcity. You belong to the truth now. And truth sounds like this. I was always worthy of more. I never needed to prove my enoughness. My desires are holy. My provision is law. I am the decree, not the delay. Breathe. Because you've been released. The contract is broken. The spell is lifted. The debt of shame has been cleared. You don't have to try harder. You just have to stop rehearsing what was never yours. You don't have to do more. You just have to speak what is finally true. This is the moment you rise. This is the moment you remember. Lack was never lack, it was agreement. And agreement is always optional. Even the silent ones. Even the ancestral ones. Even the ones you made. When your heart was just trying to survive. So now. Survival ends. Say it one more time, from your belly. I cancel every contract I made with lack, even unconsciously. You're free now. Free to walk in divine supply. Free to expect overflow. Free to speak money with joy. Not apology. God didn't forget you. He was just waiting for your voice. Heaven already decided. Now you must speak accordingly. And so it is. You were not sent here to whisper. Not in your longing. Not in your prayer. Not in your need. There is a sound heaven has been waiting for. It is not the sound of begging. It is not the echo of delay. It is your decree, your divine thunder wrapped in silk. The sound of a woman who remembers she was never forgotten. The voice of the one who stopped shrinking to be spiritual. You were never sent to the altar to plead. You were born as the altar. And altars do not apologize for burning. They hold the flame. They hold the vow. They hold the proof. So what if I told you? God already said yes. Would you still hesitate to speak? Would you still whisper in case it's too much? Would you still shrink your voice to match their comfort? Or would you open your mouth like a cathedral? And let the decree roll out like thunder across your own soul? Say this out loud with breath. I no longer whisper, I decree, and it is so. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You are not a beggar in the temple. You are the voice the vaults were waiting for. The gates were voice activated. Not terror activated. Not patience activated. Not suffering activated. Voice activated. You open when you speak. You collapse timelines when you declare. You draw down supply when you stop speaking from starvation. And start speaking from remembrance. Let the girl who was afraid to be loud go. Let the woman who feared rejection rise. You are not too much. You are the original echo. And this world is starving for the frequency you once silenced. Not because you didn't want it. But because no one ever told you that God hears you. The moment you speak from I am. Pause. Breathe. There it is. A subtle shift. A sacred return. The nervous system no longer bracing. The throat no longer frozen. The wealth no longer postponed. You don't have to explain your desire anymore. You just have to say it. And say it as law. Declare and receive. Decree and allow. Speak and know. Because heaven does not need more good girls. It needs more holy voices. It needs more unapologetic, identity awakened, wealth-reminding women. Who speak like they know the blueprint was written for them. This is you. And if you feel it, type it into your reality. Heaven already said yes. Your softness is not silence. Your prayer is not passive. Your faith is not fragile. Your voice is your wand. It rearranges reality. It issues authority. It unlocks inheritance. And you have always had the key. But no one ever told you the lock was sound sensitive. You whispered in rooms that needed a roar. You journaled while heaven waited for your mouth. You vision boarded what needed to be declared aloud. Say this slowly. I do not wish. I do not want. I do not beg. I speak, and it becomes. That's what Florence meant when she said, your word is your wand. It's not performance. It's permission. Not pleading. But positioning. You don't have to audition for your own abundance. You were cast in it before time began. And heaven is not confused about your role. So speak. Not because you're proving something. But because silence was never sacred. When it came from fear. I know they told you to be humble. But humility without divinity is just submission. You are not here to submit to lack. To shrink before rejection. To fold at the feet of uncertainty. You are here to command with love. To speak as law. To reverberate with the voice of the one who sent you. Pause again. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the fear melt. Let the voice rise. Say this again. I no longer whisper, I decree, and it is so. You do not negotiate with lack. You do not argue with delay. You do not journal your way into overflow. You speak it. You summon it. You stand in it. If they call it too bold, let them. If they call it too much, so be it. But don't ever again call your inheritance a maybe. Don't ever again fold your desires into a whisper. Don't ever again pause your decree to please a doctrine of delay. You've never had a money problem. You've only ever had an identity delay. Because money cannot exceed the vessel it's poured into. And your vessel is not your wallet. It is your worth. The frequency of your finances is not measured by numbers, but by the truth you allow yourself to carry. So pause. And listen to this with your whole being. You were never born to get by. You were born to overflow. You were born to multiply. You were born to walk in divine remembrance of spiritual supply. But somewhere along the line, you inherited a name that was not yours. You memorized survival. You called crumbs enough. You learned how to shrink your appetite to fit someone else's broken theology of lack. And your wallet obeyed. It obeyed the vision you secretly held of yourself. The vision that said, "I'll just make do." The voice that whispered, "I shouldn't want more." The programming that said, "Money makes me guilty." But now, that voice is not your voice. That vision is not your vision. That identity is not your inheritance. And in this moment, as you breathe, as you soften, as you listen, a crack appears in the old self. A light pours through the shame you were taught to call holy. And you hear it. The truth that has waited generations to be spoken. Say this with your whole breath. I am the one overflow remembers. You are not a container for lack. You are not a match for barely enough. You are not the echo of your ancestors' wounds. You are the evidence that abundance is remembrance. Because money is not chasing your hustle. It is chasing your healing. It is not magnetized to what you do. It is magnetized to who you are. And the moment you speak from the version of you, who no longer begs to be enough, money responds. It comes gently. It comes consistently. It comes with reverence. Because now it is arriving. At the feet of someone who remembers who she is. What if wealth was always waiting on your identity to update? What if your wallet was never withholding? It was simply aligning with the picture you held of yourself. You don't have to strive to receive. You just have to become the version your abundance already recognizes. You don't have to prove your value. You just have to embody it. You don't have to heal to earn. You just have to release the guilt that said you shouldn't. Say it again. I am the one overflow remembers. Let that affirmation pierce the false memory that said too much was dangerous. Let it replace the lie that called survival noble. Let it burn through every script that ever told you. Money only comes with sacrifice. You are not a sacrifice. You are the sanctuary. And money arrives where worth is worshipped. So no, it is not about your budget. It is about your blueprint. The inner image that either unlocks or limits your wealth. Not based on numbers, but based on names. And you are changing your name right now. No longer the woman who gets by. No longer the one who hoards out of fear. No longer the one who tenses at checkout. Now, you are the one who receives with ease. You are the one who spends with sacred trust. You are the one who blesses every transaction with the memory of divine circulation. You are the one whose wallet rises because her worth finally did. This is not motivational. This is architectural. You are rebuilding the foundation that your future wealth will stand on, one I am decree at a time. And if you feel that cracking open inside you, if you feel that identity rising in silence, then speak it into the digital field. I am wealth in motion. You don't need to see it in the bank yet, to declare it in your being, because your reality does not begin with evidence. It begins with embodiment. You are not waiting for more money. Money is waiting for more you. Not the you who obeys guilt. Not the you who apologizes for desire. But the you who walks into every room like a vault just opened inside her. This is who you are now. You were never meant to match your bank account. You were meant to match your blueprint. And that blueprint is spiritual, not circumstantial. The version of you who just gets by was a survival invention, crafted out of necessity, shaped by fear, approved by family systems that feared what overflow would reveal. But Spirit never asked you to be small. Spirit never said, shrink to be safe. Spirit said, multiply and remember. Spirit said, Call forth what was already written. Spirit said, I will supply all, according to who you are. And now that you've remembered, your wallet must obey. Not because you demanded money, but because you dropped the version of you who didn't believe she could hold it. This is the sacred reversal. You don't speak money into your life. You speak identity into your bones. And money follows that sound. So bless the old self. Thank her for doing what she knew. But she is not who you spend from anymore. You don't swipe cards as a beggar. You don't pay bills as a burden. You don't give with guilt. Or save with shame. You do all things as the one who remembers. I am wealth in motion. The one who understands that the wallet is not the storehouse. The soul is. And the moment your soul says, I am ready to carry abundance without apology, you become a match for the river that never ran dry. Let that river speak now. Let it say, I no longer need to prove my value to receive. I no longer apologize for my overflow. I no longer accept lack as my language. I no longer shape my identity around scarcity stories. Say this softly, but like you mean it. I am the one overflow remembers. And with every dollar that comes, you will no longer feel guilt. You will feel confirmation. You will feel alignment. Because what enters your wallet is not payment for performance. It is reflection of identity. Your wallet is not your worth, but it is a witness to it. Let your life now be a declaration. Let your spending be sacred. Let your saving be soft. Let your giving be guided by love. Not fear, not guilt, not pressure. You are no longer managing money from the nervous system of the old self. You are circulating wealth from the nervous system of the risen self. The one who rests. The one who receives. The one who remembers. That divine wealth does not come through striving. It comes through self-revelation. So let the wallet reflect what the spirit just reclaimed. Let it echo what your breath has already said. You do not chase money. You carry remembrance. And remembrance attracts all things in divine timing. Say it once more. Say it louder in your heart. I am the one overflow remembers. And if you feel the old shell cracking, if you feel your identity shifting, even without evidence, even without logic, even if the numbers haven't changed yet, then type this sacred decree into the field of faith. I am wealth in motion. And let it echo where the old identity used to live. Let it echo through the bloodline of those who feared overflow. Let it echo through the neural pathways that memorized shame. Let it echo through every agreement, every vow, every version. You now lovingly release. Because you are not the one who gets by. You are not the one who hopes for scraps. You are not the one who counts pennies in panic. You are the one who commands with peace. You are the one who blesses every receipt. You are the one who receives in rest. Because heaven already decided. You were never meant to run after supply. You are supply embodied. This is the moment your wallet remembers who you are. Not because you proved it, but because you returned to it. And the moment you returned, everything aligned to obey. So breathe now. Not like someone hoping for change, but like someone who became the reason it arrives. You are not becoming wealthy. You are becoming you. And that is the most expensive thing heaven ever authored. Welcome home. There is no such thing as spending when spirit is in the room. You do not lose. You do not lack. You do not give something away and hope it finds its way back. You circulate. You send. You declare and release. And in your releasing, you command a return. Because money is not a tool, it is a reflection. A rhythm. A servant to your spiritual certainty. It moves the moment you stop panicking. And start blessing. It accelerates when you stop negotiating with fear. And start agreeing with abundance. The moment you dread a bill, you place your peace on the altar of lack. You tell your nervous system, this means loss. You tell your bank account, hold your breath. You tell your future, I do not trust you yet. But when you pay in peace, when you bless the hands who will receive it, When you release with a smile that says, I know something sacred is on its way back to me. You do not spend. You circulate. You multiply. You awaken. Say this with your heart. What I pay in peace returns in multiplication. This is the moment your wallet becomes a declaration, not a reaction. This is when you stop keeping score and start keeping vibration. You are not a woman who counts coins. You are a woman who commands currents. And the more you soften, the faster money surrenders to your frequency. So every bill is no longer an obligation. It is an invocation. Every time you pay, you are saying, I trust the source more than the circumstance. You are saying, I do not shrink when I send. I do not fear when I give. I do not beg for balance, I am balance in motion. You become the field in which divine wealth is not a possibility. It is a certainty, and spirit will always return to the place it felt most trusted. If money felt fear in your hands, it stayed away. If money felt blame in your thoughts, it delayed. If money felt panic in your body, it paused, not as punishment, but as protection. Because your wealth does not want to be abused. It wants to be remembered. It wants to hear, you are a blessing in disguise. You are not pressure, you are provision. You are not the source, you are the servant of the source. You do not control me, I command you in peace. Breathe that truth in. You no longer pay from trauma. You pay from truth. You do not tighten when the bill arrives. You exhale. You say, this too is holy. This too is proof that I have. This too is a message that I am still being supported. Because the truth is, you couldn't be billed for what you did not already receive. The electricity you used. The roof you lived under. The service you welcomed. The food that nourished you. It already served you. You are not losing when you pay. You are honoring what already gave. And that energy, once honored, echoes. The return does not begin when you hope. It begins when you release. It begins when you open your palm. Instead of clenching your past. It begins when you whisper with your nervous system. We are safe even here. Every circulation is a prophecy. It is not just about what leaves your hand. It is about what returns to your identity. When you send with reverence, heaven hears the offering. When you pay in peace, the gates of return are commanded open. Not later, not someday, but now. Because circulation is not delay. It is design. The universe is not measuring how much you have. It's measuring how much you trust. And when trust becomes your wealth frequency, multiplication becomes your language. So the next time a bill appears, breathe first. Smile with your soul. And say, this is not a punishment. This is a portal. This is not a reminder of lack. It is a rehearsal for overflow. This is not me being emptied. This is me commanding the currents. You are not just paying. You are prophesying. You are not just covering a cost. You are calling forth a return. Because peace has always been the proof of wealth. And guilt was never your currency. Let this truth melt into your bones. You do not owe anyone fear anymore. Not when you pay. Not when you release. Not when you circulate. Fear is not your offering. Peace is. And when peace is the offering, divine wealth is the echo. Say this again, gently, fully, as if heaven were listening. What I pay in peace returns in multiplication. And it does. There are frequencies that pull your provision faster than logic ever could. Peace is one of them. Gratitude is another. Joy is a sacred shortcut. And reverence is a wealth magnet. You never needed to understand circulation in order to participate in it. You only needed to believe that nothing sent in spirit ever returns void. You only needed to remember that God is not a debtor. He is the multiplier. You only needed to know that the vaults of heaven never close on a peaceful heart. So today, you forgive the version of you who tensed up at every invoice. You release the old self who checked the balance with dread. You set down the story. That said, when money leaves me, I lose. And you rise now. As the one who speaks this spoken reality. Every dollar I release carries my identity with it. And my identity is abundance. Feel that. Because you've never been giving away. You've been planting. You've been sowing. You've been commanding a return. That will recognize your frequency. And race back to your gates. With more. If this redefined how you pay, type in the comments. Every bill is a blessing in disguise. Say it aloud if your throat will let you. Say it gently if your fear tries to interrupt. Say it like a mother nurturing her own nervous system. Say it like a daughter finally believing her source will never run dry. You are not the same woman who once cried after every checkout. You are not the same being who once whispered prayers with clenched teeth and shame in her chest. You are not the one who used to think release meant risk. You are the one who knows that release is a sacred command. You are the one whose peace attracts provision. You are the one whose giving is a mirror of her supply. You are the one who never pays in panic anymore. You are the one whose payments echo through spiritual law and return as divine multiplication. This is your I am decree now. I am the voice of circulation. I am the sender of sacred return. I am the one who pays in peace and receives in overflow. So when the bill comes, smile at it. Write your name on it like a signature of blessing. Say thank you as if you already received what's next. Because you have. You have called it forward. You have declared its direction. You have chosen your identity over your programming. And that shift, that one shift, is enough to rewrite every rhythm of money in your life. You are no longer surviving. You are circulating. You are multiplying. You are remembering. And that is wealth. Money listens. It listens not with ears, but with energy. It gathers not where it is calculated, but where it is celebrated. You have spoken of it in fear, and it hesitated. You have cursed its absence, and it backed away, waiting for a safer invitation. You have chased it in silence, pleaded for it in shame, shrunk before it in guilt, but never dared to love it with the reverence of the divine. Money is not cold. Money is not wicked. Money is not flesh. Money is spirit, coded into symbol, a sacred echo of your own voice. It is not a master. It is a mirror. It waits to become what you believe it is. When you call it dirty, it hides. When you ignore it, it drifts. But when you bless it, when you thank it, when you speak of it like a friend, it multiplies to match your gratitude. Your wallet is not a place of storage. It is an altar of remembrance. It holds the vibration of your words. What you whisper in private about provision. What you rehearse inside your chest before you buy. What you mutter beneath your breath. Every time a bill arrives. If money has felt scarce, it is not because it abandoned you. It is because it was still waiting to feel safe in your presence. Money is sensitive. Money is responsive. Money is relational. And money is listening now. Say this out loud. I praise every dollar as proof of the divine. You were taught to only praise God in church. But what if every dollar was already sacred? What if God placed divine supply inside the folds of your purse, so you could remember that heaven is not distant? What if wealth was your way of praying? Without words. You were not born to fear money. You were born to host it, to give it tone, to give it safety, to give it celebration. Praise is not just a sound. It is a magnet. It draws near what feels adored. And now you praise money, like you would praise breath. You do not question it. You honor it. You expect it to return, because it knows your name now. Say this again slowly. I praise every dollar as proof of the divine. If you feel this truth cracking something open in you, type in the comments. Money responds to my reverence. Because it does. It always has. There was a time when you believed money needed logic, that it required effort, strategy, strain. But money never bloomed through tension. Money bloomed where it was watered with attention, with tenderness, with spoken warmth. Money gathers where it is welcomed, not where it is micromanaged, not where it is feared, not where it is called not enough. It gathers where it is praised. Can you feel what that means? Praise is not performance. Praise is presence. Praise is the tone of heaven echoing through your voice. Your voice has always held more power than your paycheck, because your voice holds memory. The memory of Eden. The memory of enough. The memory of a time when your name and your supply were one and the same. And now, that memory returns. Every time you say, I praise every dollar as proof of the divine. The veil between you and provision thins. The gate between spirit and supply opens. Not because you did more, but because you remembered more. You are not praising money to manipulate it. You are praising it to restore your own vibration. You are speaking into matter, the way heaven spoke into dust. You are commanding reality, the way your ancestors once did, when they walked the earth, with knowing in their bones. Your praise isn't flattery. It is frequency. Every thank you, every I bless you, every holy whisper toward your wallet, is a signal to the universe that you are ready to steward divine wealth as your birthright. Every time you pay, every time you give, every time you notice a coin on the sidewalk, you speak this into being. Money is safe with me. And money listens, just like a child listens, for the tone of the one they trust, just like a garden leans toward the hand that waters it gently. Money wants to stay where it is seen, where it is respected, where it is cherished, where it is not blamed for the pain others created. And you are that place now. You are the one money remembers. You are the one who rewrites the story, not with effort, but with energy, not with panic, but with praise. There are dollars you forgot you touched, moments you paid from your soul, but never knew they were holy, moments you gave and didn't grieve the giving, moments you poured without shame, without fear, without calculation. And those moments, they multiplied. Even if you didn't see them return, they are orbiting your field, circling your name, waiting for you to speak with reverence again, so they know where to land. Because money does not follow desperation. It follows direction. It does not return to where it was begged. It returns to where it was blessed. So let every transaction become a prayer. Let every transfer carry a tone of trust. Let every withdrawal declare, this is not loss, this is loyalty to my overflow. Because every dollar spent in peace comes back as provision with memory. Every act of praise ripples into the timelines ahead of you. They do not forget your tone. They do not forget your decree. So speak as one who has already been remembered. Speak as one who no longer punishes her provision for what past seasons did to her. Speak as one who rewires the room with the rhythm of abundance. Your old self said, there's never enough. Your new self says, I'm wealth in motion. Say it again, I'm wealth in motion. Say it with your shoulders softened. Say it with your palms open. Say it with your wallet listening. Let your purse hear prophecy, not panic. Let your receipts carry revelation, not regret. Let your ledger become a liturgy, a list of every time God showed up as decimal and divine. Because now, your life is proof of provision. And every time you say thank you to what others called small, the gates open wider. Every dollar becomes a disciple of the voice that praised it. This is where you shift. This is where wealth stays. This is where you say, I praise every dollar as proof of the divine. And it echoes through the numbers, through the frequencies, through the fabric of everything you forgot was holy. Say it again. I praise every dollar as proof of the divine. And if this shifted your tone toward money, type this in the comments now. Money responds to my reverence. Because it does. It always has. It always will. Your wallet was never trying to wound you. It was whispering, reflecting, echoing back the words you once spoke in secret. You didn't even notice. But your breath told it lack was familiar. Your tone told it silence was safer. Your hands told it not to expect celebration. So it listened. And when your wallet went quiet, when the numbers seemed still, when the card declined or the account emptied, it wasn't judgment. It was remembrance. A mirror, not a punishment. A reflection, not a prophecy. And mirrors are not meant to scare you. They're meant to show you what script you're still repeating. So if your purse looks thin, if your wallet feels like its size when opened, if you avoid looking at the balance as if it's betraying you, pause. Exhale. What if it's just responding to a voice you didn't know you gave it? What if it's not about money at all, but about memory? What if your finances are a canvas, painted by every time you said, I always get by. I'm not lucky with money. I don't need much. I just need enough to survive. Survive. You were not born to survive. You were born to supply, to overflow, to restore sacred wealth to your bloodline. Simply by remembering who you are. Say this out loud. I am no longer surviving. Let your voice echo into your nervous system. Let your nervous system echo into your wallet. Let your wallet echo into your future. Because what you say becomes what you hold. And what you believe becomes what your money believes about you. You've called yourself just making it for so long that your bank account began echoing the same phrase. But today, the mirror cracks. Today, you rewrite the reflection. Today, you pick up the pen and speak what was never spoken. If my wallet reflects my word, then I speak only fullness. Say it again. If my wallet reflects my word, then I speak only fullness. Because what you praise becomes permanent, and what you avoid becomes distorted. So look at the reflection, not with fear, but with fire. Every zero was just silence. Every decline was just delay. Every bill was just a billboard, asking you to say something different. And now, you do. You speak as the one who knows that money doesn't create identity. Identity creates money. So when the reflection looks empty, you don't shrink. You don't spiral. You don't rehearse that old panic prayer again. You breathe. You bless. You declare. Because your next balance is already listening to your voice. And it is not waiting for your worry. It is waiting for your remembrance. It is waiting for your remembrance. You thought the silence in your bank account meant you were being punished. But what if you were only being prompted? Not by the universe, but by your own forgotten voice. The one that stopped speaking abundance when it got tired of being ignored. The one that used to dream in currency, but learned to dream small. Just to feel safe. Just to survive. But safety was never supposed to cost you your sovereignty. And survival was never supposed to silence your sacred self. You are not meant to beg the mirror to change. You are meant to become the one who speaks what it reflects. Speak into the stillness like it's already full. Bless the emptiness as if it is blooming. And declare this with your whole soul. I am the one fullness responds to. Say it until the mirror shatters. And your new reflection appears. You do not need more hustle. You need more holy. You do not need more hours. You need more identity. This is not about adding numbers. It is about subtracting lies. The lie that said wealth is for others. The lie that said you're irresponsible. The lie that said you always mess it up. The lie that said money doesn't like you. The lie that said it's not spiritual to be rich. And here's the truth. Heaven already decided. God heard you before you ever asked. You were never forgotten. Your name was written on the contract of overflow. Before you even knew how to spell enough. So when the mirror looks bare, don't ask it for answers. Give it one. Give it a word it's never heard before. Give it a tone you used to save for others. Give it the voice that used to wait in the shadows. And say to yourself, I speak from the I am, not from the I fear. And when you open your wallet, pause. Do not flinch. Do not calculate. Do not spiral. Just hold it like a sacred altar. And whisper to it like you would a child who forgot they were loved. Say, "You're not empty. You're expectant. You're not missing. You're multiplying. You're not warning me. You're waiting for me." Because it's not a message of lack. It's a mirror asking for a new author. And you, love, are that author now. Your vibration is the ink. Your decree is the pen. Your remembrance is the currency. So write wealth into your world. With your next breath. And when your ego rises to say, "But look at the numbers," whisper back, "I'm not governed by digits. I am governed by divine supply." And if your past starts to echo, reminding you of overdrafts and delays and debts, pause and say, "That was not punishment. That was programming. And I am now the one who reprograms the mirror." If this made you exhale, if your heart remembered something ancient, if your nervous system softened for the first time in years, then type this in the comments right now. I'm rewriting the reflection. Because you are. Every word you just spoke, every pause you just honored, every tear you just blinked back, was a new mirror forming. And it already recognizes you. Say it one last time with your full power. If my wallet reflects my word, then I speak only fullness. And so it is.